Welcome to the coolest stuff on the planet.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Coolest Stuff on the Planet. My name is Matthew. I'm here as always with my great and esteemed co-host, Rachel.
Thank you. Hello everyone. And today, without further ado, we're going to get right to it, Matt.
Yep.
We are going to visit a structure that is possibly the most romantic structure on the planet, the Taj Mahal.
Yes.
And I should point out, Matt, before we get into it anymore and we pronounce the word multiple times, that you know my partner is Indian.
Yes.
And so I asked him how you pronounce it properly, and so I was practicing, and apparently it's more like Taj Mahal.
Oh.
But I guess for the purposes of us, we can pronounce it gringo style.
I like Mahal.
Or do you want to try? You want to try
yeah.
it properly? Okay.
Let's get Mahal going on here.
Okay, let's do it then.
And I also, there's like a D sound on the Taj.
It's Taj. You put your tongue between your teeth. Taj Mahal.
All right, well, we're going to give this a try, everybody. Here we go. If we take a look at northern India, and now we zoom down into the city of Agra, and then we zoom one more time all the way down. Oh, there it is, the Taj Mahal. I just said it wrong. The Taj Mahal. Now, does anybody remember what else is located in this city? Anybody?
I do.
Oh, see, is there anybody else? Okay, what is it, Rachel?
Over here. The Agra Fort.
Oh, yes, you guys remember the giant red sandstone structure, the fort that it had archers on the top and monkeys were climbing up the walls?
And it's pretty.
So yeah, the place was awesome. Go back and listen to that episode if you get a chance. But right now we're going to stick to the Taj. So the Taj Mahal was built to function as a mausoleum or a tomb. It houses the remains of two famous lovers, Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal.
So Shah Jahan, and I think we mentioned it a little bit before in the Agra podcast, but he was a 17th century Mughal ruler who basically ordered the construction of this massive mausoleum after the death of his favorite wife, Mumtaz. Shortly after she died, giving birth to their 14th child.
Good golly. Ooh, lucky lady, I guess? No. Good.
It's a romantic story, but a sad one.
Yeah, seriously, 14 kids. That's what I'm saddest about.
They were in love, Matt. That's what love does.
And you got to keep that royal blood going,
That's right.
so
That's
it's
right.
important. So legend has it that on her deathbed, Mumtaz asked Shah Jahan to build her an elaborate tomb that would be unrivaled throughout the world. And guess what? That's what he did.
Yep. And that's what we see today. And obviously a structure that's this famous and this beautiful has been described by poets and writers, throughout the centuries. There's some neat ones, but I think my favorite is it's been described as a poem in stone or poetry in stone, which is so neat.
Absolutely. And even on the outside, what we're going to talk about later, there is almost poetry, the passages from the Quran. It's
Right.
almost a poetic thing on the front. So yes, it is in stone and it is poetic.
That's a good point, Matt.
Yo.
It's art.
Yes.
So anyway, the Taj Mahal is supposed to be, neither Matt nor I have visited it, but it's said to be unbelievably beautiful when you see it in person. It has white marble, amazing ornamentation, carvings, calligraphy, as Matt mentioned.
And it's one of the best examples of Mughal architecture in the world. And Rachel, this might be my favorite thing about the Taj. So every single element in the massive complex was built to achieve perfect symmetry. So you could chop the thing down the middle and you'd have exactly the same amount of stuff and it would look exactly the same on either side.
And apparently, Matt, that's a big characteristic of Mughal architecture.
Exactly.
Symmetry is key.
Exactly. But there's one thing that's a little out of order, a little out of place there. And the only thing in the entire complex that breaks the symmetry is the Shah Jahan's tomb, which was put in place later.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, it's a little weird, isn't it? If you can look at pictures, or you could go there, and you can see that the pattern on the floor is actually broken by his tomb. I guess it's what his tomb is sitting upon, the platform.
And isn't the story that his son had done this, and it might have been an attempt to sort of break up his father's perfect symmetry.
It is possible.
And stick it to the old man.
I know, but his dad though, jeez. When you have that many brothers and sisters, though, you got to get some kind of weird complex. Because everybody's a middle child, right? Except for 2.
Well, they have a pretty messed up family history too.
Okay.
Anyway, so these memorials or these cenotaphs, and we talked about that in a previous podcast. They're false tombs, so they don't actually house the remains of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal. The actual remains are below in a crypt.
Mm-hmm. But still very, very gorgeous tombs they are. So construction of the Taj Mahal began in 1632, and it took over 21 years to complete, almost 22 years. And one of the coolest things about the Taj Mahal you probably aren't aware of is that it's not made of solid marble. When you look at the thing, you think gorgeous white marble. But guess what? It's not. Underneath all that marble veneer, it's just plain old red brick.
When I say that, I think of like caps, veneers on your teeth.
Oh, gosh.
So you have plain teeth beneath and then like fancy porcelain on the outside.
Or just gold leafing.
But it still looks nice on the outside.
It certainly does. That would have been ridiculously expensive to build that entire thing out of marble.
Oh, yeah.
And it was already ridiculously expensive, right?
Well, yeah, and apparently the materials for the Taj Mahal were elephanted in from all over India and Central Asia by elephants.
Yeah, they use elephants.
So.
Awesome. Oh, also, check this out. So the Taj Mahal has a very famous massive gate that's made of red sandstone that incorporates both Hindu and Muslim elements. It's inscribed with verses from the Quran, it's all written in Arabic, but check this out, Rachel. The engravers actually lengthened and stretched out the Arabic characters to make the verses look more like patterns and decoration than simply words.
I also was reading that apparently the typography was made to look uniform, so even when you're reading up higher up and farther away, it's made to look the same size regardless of what angle you're looking at it from.
Like kind of forced perspective on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So obviously, as an architectural structure, the Taj Mahal is pretty fascinating. Aside from there's the symmetry that we talked about, but also this is an interesting fact that I didn't know until I was reading an article on our site. Actually, apparently the minarets of the Taj Mahal are deliberately angled slightly outwards so that in case of earthquake, they won't fall inwards and crush the tomb and the remains of Mumtaz and Shah Jahan. Isn't that interesting?
And these are the tall structures that are how would you describe them? They're on the outside, like on the 4 corners?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the classic Muslim towers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really cool. Okay, also now this is where it gets a little confusing for me. I'm not an architect, but we're going to go into this, and if I'm wrong, I'm very sorry. Let me know, and we'll talk about it. And write on our Facebook page, let me know how wrong I was.
If any architects listen to our podcast, we would love your input. Please don't judge us.
Okay, so check it out. Because it was built along the banks of the Yamuna River, the architects had to give kind of a special foundation so it's not going to sink, like a lot of places around the world, because you need water near your city or your awesome mausoleum. So it uses these massive piers of ebony wood that are braced on deep rubble. Okay, and then it also uses a series of concrete holes and structures and arches. So an arch that makes a concrete hole, and that's underneath the actual structures. And then it also uses really deep wells around the grounds so when the water table changes underneath it, it's actually not going to affect the Taj or any of the other structures. The water is going to get to go into these wells and into these holes that are underneath the structures.
So you have kind of like drainage and support at the same time, like
exactly.
with the arches and the wells.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't quite understand how that worked, but that makes more sense.
Again,
now.
I'm probably wrong about this. This is what I understand about it in my very limited understanding of architecture. So,
but it is architecturally very, very neat.
Yes,
and very special.
Yeah. Yes.
That's not really the word, but cool. Yeah. Okay. So one thing about the Taj Mahal in recent decades and years, there have been a lot of problems with pollution from the city of Agra that have caused problems with eating away at the marble and changing the color, like kind of yellowing it and different things like that. So in order to combat that, There have been different restoration projects, bunches of them, and I think a really large one is still in progress. So one of the things that they've done to combat this pollution is they don't allow machines that use petroleum and would pollute and things like that within close range of the Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
So I think they have you have to use electric vehicles or animal-drawn vehicles, and maybe even low emissions vehicles. I think.
Yeah, I've even heard that they mow the gardens with oxen and bulls, which I would like to see.
I know that would be one very good reason to go, just to see them mowing the lawns.
Exactly.
I'd do it.
A little throwback.
So even after all these centuries, the Taj Mahal is still an amazingly popular tourist attraction. And one thing I was going to mention is that when we're thinking about doing this topic, I kind of thought, well, why would we do the Taj Mahal? It's so done. You know, like stick a fork in it. It's been done. But from everything I've read, and I was talking to my sister-in-law, and she told me that it doesn't matter how famous it is, when you see it in person, it's worth it. It's amazing, So no matter how hyped it is, it's still apparently wonderful to see in person.
Well, it's hard to get perspective looking at pictures and videos, and until you actually are standing there in awe of it, I'm sure it's going to be, it's not going to be as cool as that.
Yeah, nothing ever is, really.
No.
But we try.
Hence a travel podcast.
We still have fun, though.
So if you'd like to learn more about the Taj Mahal, we have tons of videos and articles on our site. And also there's the wonderful ladies over at Stuff You Missed in History class made a cool little episode on this topic. Check that out. You'll like it a lot.
It's a good one. And if you have a minute, stuff we didn't mention, but some interesting extra information that you want to check out. Check out the Black Taj Mahal. Do some research on that. And the Moonlight Garden.
That one I don't know much about.
Yeah, the Black Taj Mahal kind of sounds like a conspiracy, but it's not really, but it sounds like one.
That's the one that Shah Jahan was going to make for himself?
Supposedly, yeah.
But there was no money left.
No.
All right, well, I guess that's it, everybody.
Yep, and yeah, I guess that wraps it up. But as always, we are on Facebook and Twitter. Please come play with us. We enjoy interacting with our listeners/viewers. So hang out with us, like us, make us your friends. You know what to do.
For more on this and thousands of other topics, visit howstuffworks.com and let us know what you think. Email travelpodcast@howstuffworks.com. Don't forget to check out our other podcasts, free on iTunes.